In a quaint American town, residents had been disturbed by a threatening-looking pit bull that roamed the neighborhood. An elderly woman named Rhonda went shopping, and to her surprise, the road was being blocked by the same dog. But Rhonda, for some reason, was not frightened. The dog surprisingly behaved quite calmly, even a little afraid of the harmless woman. Rhonda immediately realized that the dog was very hungry, as he started sniffing around the woman's bags for something to eat. And after looking around for some time, the old lady decided to take it to her home. She called the dog, who obediently followed her. Neighbors, upon seeing the two together, gasped, as they felt that such an aggressive breed was not desirable to have around the house. When the woman got home, the first thing she did was feed the dog. The dog behaved slyly for a while, but by evening, he got used to his new surroundings and even chose his favorite spot to rest. Within a day, the dog acted as if he had spent his whole life with the elderly woman. As the days went by, Rhonda found common ground with the animal everyone was so afraid of. Rhonda was sure that the dog had owners worried about him, and so put up flyers outside the local grocery just in case. But she received no response, and with time the pit bull grew stronger, became more active, and was constantly near his new mistress. Although Rhonda had children, she rarely saw them as they never visited. This saddened her with loneliness, but now she found a friend in the dog that would keep her company. Rhonda soon named the new pet. Because of his big heart and bass-like voice, he became known as Bass. Neighbors judged the owner of the fighting dog, saying she should turn him in before he created a problem. But Rhonda wouldn't listen to anyone. During the following summer, Rhonda's grandchildren finally came to visit and got to know Bass right away. Instead of scaring them, he played with them, even allowing them to ride him. One afternoon, Rhonda's grandchildren went to the river. They were not going for a swim, but just decided to take a walk along the bank. Bass also didn't want to be left alone at home, so Rhonda put him on a leash so he wouldn't run away. The children were playing. Rhonda's youngest grandson went knee-deep in water and slipped into the water. The strong current picked him up and carried him along the shore. Ironically, the eldest grandson couldn't swim either, so all he did was run along the shore, shouting for help. But unfortunately, no one was around. The boy tried swimming with all his strength, but the harder he tried, the more he ended up engulfed by the water, gulping more and more water. Bass, meanwhile, was able to keep up with the boy, following his helpless cries for help, and before long dove headfirst into the water. Once the pit bull reached the boy, he stuck out his neck. Rhonda's grandson, exhausted by the struggle, could only sling his arms around the dog's neck. The two of them began to struggle together against the river, but it seemed faster and more powerful than even the mightiest adult. Hearing the children's screams a few minutes later, Rhonda's neighbor ran toward the common and witnessed the beast pulling the boy out of the water on his back. The sight dumbfounded the neighbor. "You weren't afraid of this beast once and saved his life by taking him off the street, and now he's repaying the price in full," said Rhonda's neighbor, who carried the grandson home in his arms. We often make life difficult for ourselves based on an outsider perspective. Not everyone who looks tough is a villain, and not everyone that is good outwardly is beautiful at heart. And as for animals, they are much more sympathetic than we give them credit for.